first off, we'd like to ask you how you guys met and how you formed your quartet.
I wish we had a really, really fun story for this question, because we get asked it a lot, and we contemplate saying, oh, well, we were a Jamaican bobsled team, but then that didn't work out, so we decided to play string quartets. But the story is actually very simple. Mark and Misha and I were all at the Juilliard School together at the same time, and we played together in chamber ensembles at school and during summer festivals, and the three of us decided we'd like to start a string quartet, but we needed a cellist, and we asked a friend of ours, also someone we had known from summer festivals, which are quite popular amongst musicians. His name was Michael Cannon, and that's how our quartet started. He played with us for 7 years. And then Nina, who was also a Juilliard graduate, and we all studied with members of the Juilliard String Quartet, joined us in 1999. So it's quite a long time now, where we've just been us four.
How did you guys come to choose the instrument you play now?
Well, I tried to play the piano for 3 years, and I was abysmal at it. I got as far as trying to play the Happy Farmer, and then my mother finally let me quit. And then in 4th grade, in my public school, Green Trails Elementary School in Chesterfield, Missouri, there was a group of women who played the string quartet version of the Oscar Mayer Bologna song. And the cello had the melody, the theme, and I was like, whoa, that's for me. So that's how I started. And I was obsessed with trying to play the cello. And I did love me some bologna.
I come from a family of professional musicians. My parents are both pianists, and I started on the piano, and like Nina, just wasn't that good at it. So eventually I got an instrument of my own, which was a good thing in my family.
Like many violists, when I was little, I was a violinist, because the viola, although it is the most awesome instrument, is too large for little kids to play often. And so I played the violin until I was in my teens, and then a lot of my best friends were in the viola section, so I thought that I would add the viola to my collection and join them in the viola section. And they didn't actually necessarily welcome me, because they viewed me as competition, so that was a miscalculation on my part. But I thought I would be someone who played both instruments for a long time, but then my violin teacher kicked me out of her studio because she said that I seemed to be more natural on the viola, so unexpectedly it became my permanent home.
I was sadly never cool enough to play the viola, so I had to play the violin.
Just a fun little question. If you could play any other instrument, what would you play?
I would sing.
I would totally sing. It would mean I wouldn't have to pay an extra ticket to fly a cello with me everywhere I go.
I've always been kind of fascinated by the accordion.
Really?
Yeah. Seems like a good instrument.
I would definitely play the piano or the kazoo.
What is your favorite quartet piece to play together?
Well, I think the correct answer is whatever we're playing. But we're lucky in the fact that many amazing composers have written an incredible amount of literature for this combination of instruments. So, of course, we love Beethoven and Brahms and Schubert and Schumann. Haydn is a big favorite of ours. Mozart, did I say Mozart? And we are also very much dedicated to playing music from composers today and commissioning them and it's wonderful to have questions about the music and to be able to email them and ask them questions and have them pop an email back to us saying, this is exactly what I wanted. Which you can't do for Beethoven.
As musicians, there are many different paths you could have taken. Why did you choose chamber music?
Because it's the best. I played Quartet the first time when I was 10, and it was, I'll never forget that hour when I sat down and somebody plunked me down in a quartet and played a high and minuet, and I was just completely amazed at, first of all, how much better it was than playing by myself. How cool it was that my instrument could make a sound combined with other instruments and sound much more interesting than my instrument alone. How I could say something and someone would answer back, how it was like talking. And I was just entranced from that moment. I knew that there was nothing else that could take the place of quartet playing in my mind.
I also had an aha moment. I never much enjoyed practicing by myself. And when I finally got together with other people and in a group setting, somehow everything just clicked into place and I said, oh, this has a purpose. I know I'm practicing now. So yeah, it's also when I was a little older, maybe 14, I played in my first string quartet. Beethoven Opus 18 No. 1, and it was great. Music camp.
Could you guys share a favorite quartet memory?
They're very forgetful.
We were lucky enough to accompany Jessie Norman on, she did a concert with all gospel music, and she organized this huge number of people. It wasn't a tour, I was to Greece, but it was a huge number of people involved. A jazz trio, a gospel choir, a pianist, a string quartet, plus Jessie, who's herself huge. But we played at this amazing place called Epidavros, and it's an amphitheater cut out of the hillside, and one of these sort of acoustically perfect phenomenons. There's a little circle in the center, and if you stand on it and whisper, the 14,000th person in the top row can hear you. And so we did this concert with her outside, and like 14,000 people came. And it was just kind of incredible. I think that was one of our, most singular experiences.
I might add that if there's anyone in the world who doesn't need help being heard by the 14,000th person, particularly it's probably Jessie Norman.
And one last question. Could you tell us a bit about your program that you will be playing tonight and how it compares or contrasts to this afternoon's concert?
That's a big question. You said you were going to ask hard questions. I see that you were telling the truth. Tonight we're offering a program of music by Mozart, Brahms, and James Macmillan. And we like the balance in the program because obviously the odd man out is Macmillan, whose piece is in the middle. The Mozart and the Brahms each have a lot in common with each other, even though one is very like classical Mozart and the other one is very rich romantic Brahms, but they approach very close to each other in mood and in surface texture and even in just the rhythmic feel of how they start. One might say they each represent their respective composers at their most cheerful, most genial, most out of doors. And so they're a study in similarity and in contrast. And the Macmillan, it's a very vivid, colorful, sometimes abrasive piece with lots of extended techniques, lots of strange ways of playing our instruments, ponticello and hitting the instrument and playing with the wood of the bow, and he has a very vivid sonic imagination that often extends beyond the playing of the instruments, and so this is a very interesting adventure of a piece.
Well, in some ways, there's not much contrast between Stephanie's program and tonight's program because all together we're going to play the first movement of the Mozart Quartet that the quartet will be playing later. And in the middle of the program, we're going to play the slow movement from the Brahms Quartet that we're playing tonight. What's on this afternoon program that's not on tonight's program is this very wonderful G major quartet of Joseph Haydn, and we're not playing any Haydn on our concert, but Haydn's one of our very favorite composers to play, and this is a piece that's filled with beauty and wit and imagination and fantastic rhetoric and conversation between the parts, and it's a great joy to play, and I hope that everyone here is having a great time getting to know it, because it's a really wonderful piece. We love it.
Thank you so much, and now we'll continue on with the concert.